Malachi Corley is a New York Jet, and I could not be happier. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Talking Jets with Tigo. My name is Tigo, and boy, I honestly do not have words to describe what I saw on day 2 of the NFL draft, because everything played out perfectly for the New York Jets. For those of you who don't know, I was watching the draft with a good friend Ian of Jet Central and Kevin of the Buffalo Jet Fan over on Jet Central's channel. It was a good time. We had a blast. And we were watching the draft unfold, and we were all sitting there. Oh my God, the wide receivers are falling. The wide receivers are falling. The wide receivers are falling. And then we all saw the New York Jets trade up, and we're like, oh my gosh, there's still some really good guys on the board. Holy crap. Are we about to get Malachi Corley? Is that really going to happen? Is this a reality that we get to live in? That we get to get Malachi Corley? And the pick came in. And the New York Jets got wide receiver out of Western Kentucky, Malachi Corley. And here's the thing. I love this pick. And one of the things that we said on the stream, and I'm going to say it again here, is that this pick, this wide receiver, this tier of wide receiver makes the Olu pick even better. I understood the Olu pick and why people were still on the thing for offensive line. But breaking down my thought process even more so that you guys can understand it was, my fear was that if you took an offensive tackle in the first round, you would be stuck with a tier 3 wide receiver. You know, your clear backups, your guys that in the best case scenario is wide receiver 3 or 4, right? That's best case scenario. They're the guy who comes off the bench when one of your wide receivers needs a breath, right? And I didn't want that. I wanted a guy who was going to start. I wanted a guy who wanted to be impactful. And my belief was that the way that the draft would play out, and my belief system came this way because of a lot of the mock drafts and all of the experts and all of the people that you would talk to and have conversations with that all said and all believed, and I did too, that there was going to be a run on wide receivers in the second round. Everybody thought it was going to happen. And for the Jets to get a tier 2 wide receiver, you were going to have to give up a ton of capital to get into the second round. I didn't know if that was going to be possible. We were going to miss out. And then inversely, I thought people weren't going to take the offensive tackles because we were going to see a run on offensive tackles in the first round, and then it was going to cool off. And we would get a tier 2 offensive tackle in the third. And the exact opposite happened in the draft. We saw a little bit of a run on wide receivers in the top of the second and the bottom of the first, right? Really got me scared. We got 7 wide receivers going in the first round, which is insane. And then it just stopped. The wide receivers didn't go. All of the defensive players went. Linebackers, DTs, edges, corners, safeties, offensive tackles. They all went. And the wide receivers kept falling. And Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh made sure that they got their guy. The moment they couldn't get Rome, they pivoted and they said Malachi Corley is going to be a New York Jet. And they tried to get into the second round to get Malachi Corley, and they couldn't. But we got him at pick 65. And I'm so excited about adding this level of talent because I legitimately think that Malachi Corley has wide receiver 2 upside. He has a skill set that's going to complement not just Garrett Wilson, but this offense as a whole. It's going to give Aaron Rodgers a weapon, or at least a style of weapon that he's very familiar with. When you watch Malachi Corley, one of the things that I like to think of is a bigger, bulkier, stronger Randall Cobb, like in his prime, right? That's what he is. Get the ball in his hands and just get it going. A lot of people have also comped him to Deebo Samuel, just saying he's a mini Deebo Samuel. That's another really, really good comp. The thing with this, and I saw this quote somewhere, and I don't remember where I saw it, about Malachi Corley was that he converts speed to power like an edge rusher, so that when he has a full head of steam and he is full sprint with the ball in his hands, he makes sure that the person that's trying to bring him down, that the person that's tackling him, one, has an incredibly hard time doing it, and two, if they do it, they're going to feel it. They're going to remember what it's like to bring down Malachi Corley. And that works in his favor, because when we look at the weaknesses in his game, there are, well, a couple of areas that specifically you have to worry about in his game. And we can cover up those weaknesses by putting him in the slot, and he's not going to have to worry about those things. But like lateral movement, he's not a make a man miss in open space kind of guy. That's not what he does. You know how Garrett Wilson can dance and make a guy miss? That's not what Malachi Corley is going to do. Malachi Corley is just going to put his shoulder right in the middle of that guy's chest and run him over. Like, that's just what he's going to try to do. And he does it very consistently. But the other problem that he struggles with is like getting off of the line. If he is put at the X, which he shouldn't be, but if he's put at the X, he has a really hard time getting off the line and dealing with press corners. Well, the great thing is that you can work on that. And I believe in our wide receivers coach Azani to help him develop that skill set. And so in a year from now, maybe 2 years from now, when he's developed that skill set and he can handle press man and you can put him out wide, maybe he can be wide receiver 2. And that's the key. Malachi Corley has wide receiver 2 upside. Very, very raw prospect and has to develop nuance to his game. But early on, just get him the ball in the open field. In 2022, he had a game against Charlotte, I believe, and he caught 6 passes for 157 yards and a touchdown. Fun fact, none of those passes came in front of the line of scrimmage. Every single one of those passes was at or behind the line of scrimmage. He ran for 157 yards on 6 passes. This is the ultimate gadget guy, and all of the things that we saw with Tyreek Hill and all of those motions to get him open or give him a running start before the snap by putting him in motion before the snap and snapping the ball while he's in motion. I expect that we're going to see a lot of that stuff happening in our game. And while a lot of people were saying that we could do that with Garrett Wilson, and we absolutely can and we absolutely should, Malachi Corley now adds another player that we can do that with. And I'm in love. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I love this pick. I am totally on board with this draft. I love the Olu pick now. That the draft went from a B- to an A+ by being able to get Malachi Corley, and we still have 3 4th-round picks. Tomorrow is going to be a very, very important day. We say this every year, but I truly believe it. This is going to be a franchise-defining draft. It's going to make or break the season what we do in the 4th round, because rounds 1 and 3, we've knocked out of the park. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And last but not least, go Jets.